God, it's always gay son, thought daughter. What about the gay thought daughters, huh? Where's my representation? Before I begin, I would like to remind you to subscribe and hit that bell if you would like to see more content like this. You haven't exactly seen the content yet, but it'd be cool if you subscribed anyway. All the cool kids are doing it. On to the video today. As you probably read in the title, I would like to talk about boy moms. Ooh, so much fun, yes. You guys have probably heard of a boy mom before, and if you haven't, I'm really sorry that you're watching this and you're about to discover what they are. Genuine condolences, but don't click away. Keep watching. You ever seen a mom acting a little interesting around their son? You know, maybe they're like a little physically close to their son, like that mom who completely jumped into her son's arms after a football game. Maybe they're a mom that's worried that their son will grow up and leave them for some floozy, forgetting that they, their mother, were their first love and first kiss. Do you know what I'm talking about? Hopefully not, but if you do, I'm sorry. Regardless of how weird they are fascinating, okay? I'm gonna show you something to kind of whet your palate. I'm sorry, I said whet. You've probably seen this example before, but it's just such a good example. I don't see why I shouldn't use it here. So here we go. Boy mom number one.
I never thought that I would be that toxic boy mom. I love my 4 kids equally, but that last little boy just hits different. And now I feel like I'm having this existential crisis. Or I wouldn't be that mom, that toxic boy mom. He hits his sisters, he punches them. I'm like, maybe he's having a hard day. So when I think about my daughters getting married, I get excited, right? Think about their dresses, planning their weddings. When I think about my son's wedding, I want to cry. Boy mums, we've got to step up. We got to realize that we are the problem.
I love my 4 kids equally, except no, I don't. This one's my favorite. I would be curious if she would say what she just said on camera to her children's faces. I don't think that she would. This mom has not only decided to tell the whole world that she prefers her son, no matter her language and trying to say that she doesn't, she's told the world and her children that she prefers her son, and has also in the same stroke told the world that she allows her sons to hit her daughters? Ma'am. You justify it by saying that, he's just having a bad day. But you are teaching your son that it's okay to hit women so long as he feels justified, and you're also teaching your daughters that it's okay to be hit if the man feels justified. Do you see how maybe like that might be a problem in the future? No? Okay. Also, regardless of that video absolutely telling us that that child does not get in trouble for doing that, here's another video to confirm it for you.
No way! I don't think so, pal. That's not how this works.
Yikes. Now back to the initial video. She talks about how she's super excited for her daughter's wedding, but when she thinks about her son's wedding, it makes her want to cry. Now this crying isn't out of excitement, obviously, or it would have been grouped with the first statement about her daughters, right? So what exactly is she crying about? If it's not out of excitement and joy for her son, why would she be crying? Go ahead. Say it. Out loud. Anyway, next video, very similar vibe.
My boy moms feel me on this, but my son has my heart and my soul. I obviously am obsessed with Stevie Lee. She is just the greatest little girl in the world. But my whole life, I always wanted to be a boy mom.
So, like, you know that your daughter can understand the words that you're saying, right? I love my daughter, okay? Stevie Lee's great, but my son? Ooh! That is so strange. If I was your child, I would be uncomfortable. I'm not your child. I'm a random 24-year-old woman watching your video, and I'm uncomfortable and sad for your daughter. I get it, okay? I'm not stupid. I know that when parents have a child or they find out they're having a child, they have a preference in their head, right, of what they want. We've all seen the gender reveal videos of a dad finding out they're having a daughter and throwing an absolute tantrum. But to broadcast it online where your children will see it when they grow up is bonkers to me. That's insane. You're asking your kids to hate you when they get older. This is so, like, it's funny and I'm sitting here and doing a little haha about it, but like, it's sad, okay? I guarantee that if this woman has a brother, that if her mother was like, yeah, my daughter's all right, but my son, oh, I would do anything for that man. My heart beats for that boy. You might feel a little sad, okay? Just keep that in mind.
And I remember when I found out I was pregnant with him, and I was just ecstatic because I was such a tomboy growing up.
Saying that you wanted a boy because you always wanted to be a boy mom, you were a tomboy growing up, is giving me major N-Log vibes, okay? Huge N-Log vibes. And if you don't know what N-Logs are, I will gladly make a separate video on those because they need their own space to be spoken about. If you are having a child and you are hell-bent on it being a certain gender and you feel that you will be disappointed if it is a different gender, maybe you shouldn't have a child. Having a child is a selfless act. Don't have kids if you're gonna make it about yourself, okay? They are a whole entire people. We really need to bring that conversation back around. Anyway, next video.
You'll be his first kiss, his first love, his first friend. You are his mom, and he is your whole world. He's your little boy.
Stop. What are we doing here, okay? First love, first kiss. You're his mother, dude. Can you imagine with me for a moment? Imagine you're asking me, you're like, Malia, who was your first kiss? And I look you in the face and I say, my dad. How would you feel about that? How would you feel? Would it make you feel a little icky? Crazy. It's not wrong to love your son and give him little kisses on top of his little tiny baby boy head, okay? It's not wrong to show your son affection and tell him and show him that you love him. It's just weird to use romantic terms like first kiss to describe an interaction with your son. That's bonkers. Bonkers, bananas, crazy talk. I will not have it in this household. Freud would have had a field day with y'all. Now I'm gonna read you a post from a boy mother. I gave away being the one he hugs and kisses. I gave away being the one he looks for in a crowd. I gave away being the first person he turns to when things get rough. I gave away being the one he makes laugh in the middle of the day. I gave away being his number one girl. I gave away a piece of my heart. I gave away my son. Deep down, I know he will always love me, but I also know he loves her more. He loves her more than his mama, and that's okay. That's how I knew he had found the one. But isn't that what we want? We want them to marry a girl who will put them first, even if it means we become second. The reason that I'm including this is because it kind of shows the disconnect in the words and in how they feel, okay? I'm very well aware that most mothers likely don't have, it's a fun word, incestuous feelings towards their sons, but they use language that makes it feel like it, right? Like that very romantic, poetic, I gave away, is a little weird, okay? That's a little alarming to me. But then, you know, she comes through at the end and she says that he loves her more and that's okay. And that's a very healthy thing. I'm including this just to show you that I don't think a lot of these moms are intentionally trying to be creepy and weird. I just think they don't know how to use the English language very well, okay? Next, I got this next post off Reddit, and I'm so sorry that you have to listen to it. I'll say it freely. I definitely prefer my son over my daughter. Notice I didn't say love more. I just said prefer more. Some people prefer cats over dogs. It's the same logic. In most cultures, bearing a son was a huge honor. That's capital S on son there. I'm sure there's a physiological response through years of evolution whenever your brain sees the baby and processes that it's a boy. I have an emotional connection with my son that is different than my daughter's. Notice I said different, not better. It was like falling in love with my husband all over again. Ew. It was like falling in love with my husband all over again. With my daughter, it's like, yeah, I'm proud to be a mom. But with my son, it's like, oh my God, this is why I was born, for him to be born. Even though my daughter is older, my definitive maternal moment was holding my son against my skin for the first time. I'm excited for him to get married. I'll love my daughter-in-law, I know, because of her potential to give me a grandson. In case y'all can hear that, that's my roommate gagging in the other room, and if that's not your response, I'm concerned for you. Once again, your children can read! What a crazy concept! Again, you are blasting that you prefer your son over your daughter onto the internet where both of your children can read this, okay? I would be mortified if my mother ever posted something like this and I read it, okay? That relationship is done. It's over, okay? Saying different but not better means nothing when you follow it up with the statement, yeah, I love my daughter or whatever, but my son's birth made me realize that my birth and subsequent life thereafter was to birth him. What? Cut the cameras. Deadass. Combined with it was like falling in love with my husband again? Ma'am, speaking of, where is your husband? Did he know that you wrote this? He should probably know that you wrote this. This is weird. This is so violently weird. Free every single person who is in a jail right now for some weird bogus cannabis charge and fill it with women like this. This next video made me a little woozy, okay? So if you have a sensitive stomach, I would highly recommend sitting down, closing your eyes, and just not thinking about anything, okay? Just meditate for the next 15 or so seconds. Ready? Let's go. Stop! Oh, so like, I expected the mom to be holding her child, not for her to like cuddle in like that and get a little kiss on top of her head while her son plays video games. The 13-year-old teenager, whatever his age was, he had the right reaction, just shoving her right off his lap. That first one, I'm sorry that you had to see that, and I hope that I never see it again. I'll burn out my retinas. I'm gonna get into the last video here, but I would like to warn you, this is kind of a maximum cringe moment that I'm ending on. Be prepared, bunker down, have a snack, have emotional support.
Boy moms, I have found the saddest song in the world. I have been over here ugly crying listening to this song 10 times in a row. It's so sad, but it's so good. It's also the perfect song to dance to at your son's wedding.
It's a perfect song to dance to at your son's wedding. The wedding for your son that's to celebrate him and his wife. The wedding thrown specifically for your son and his wife. Your son and wife's wedding, the wedding that isn't for you. That wedding?
In place, and her baby boy is dancing away. Then he walks over, wipes a tear from her eye. Says there's still one girl haven't danced with tonight. She dances with her little man, spinning around, hand in hand, 'cause she knows today is the day that lucky woman will dance in her place.
And what place is that, ma'am? You're his mother! How many times do we have to say this? You are his mother. You're not his wife, okay? She's not dancing in your place. You're not dancing in her place. They are two different places on opposite ends of the spectrum. This wedding is not for you. It's fine if you want to dance with your son at his wedding, okay? That's not abnormal. People do that all the time. I see it more with like fathers and daughters dancing. Personally, I don't really want to do something like that, but I totally get it when you want to include your parents like that. But this is a weird song to pick. You picked this really slow romantic song to dance to with your son at his wedding, and it feels like you're making it about you a little bit, and it's not. Marriage is about the couple, right? It's not about the parents. We have Mother's Day, we have Father's Day, we have every other holiday throughout the year to celebrate family. This is their wedding. Let them have their wedding. If he wants to include you and have a dance with you at the wedding, awesome. I am begging the mothers who requested this song to really think about the fact that they could be impacting their relationship with their daughter-in-law, and that you should care about your relationship with your daughter-in-law. There's a way to put yourself into your child's wedding in a way that isn't weird emotional enmeshment. Your parents can do planning. If they don't want to do the planning, they could give a speech. They could officiate the wedding, you know? There's lots of ways that your parents could be included. Now, if this is how you choose to include your parents, that's totally good, and you have the right to do that. But I also have the right to sit here with my little camera and say something about it. I know a lot of moms aren't necessarily trying to give off that weird emotional enmeshment, incesty vibe, okay? But some of y'all don't know how to communicate properly, and that's how it comes off. If that's how you are, if you're getting a little fired up right now, I would implore you to just take a breath, okay? I know that most of you are probably excellent mothers who just love and care for your sons. You love your sons in normal ways, and you just want them to be happy. You just go a little overboard with your language. Why do you need your son to recognize that you're his first kiss? That's really weird. Is it not enough to say that you love your son? That you raised a good man? That he's special, that you care about him? Is that not enough for you? Is using this strange and mildly incestuous language worth the risk of pushing away your son and possibly damaging your relationship with the daughters you may have? Is it really worth it? I hope not. I am going to touch on the NLOG stuff a little bit here. I do think that there is a pipeline of NLOG to boy mom, right? They identify as being not like other women, and therefore better, and then they grow up, they raise a son, which they are so stoked about because girls are so much drama and I don't want to go to ballet. And then now that your son's an adult, who's this floozy trying to take my son from me? She's other women. I'm the only woman you should need. I don't think this behavior just springs up out of nowhere, okay? I think it is cultivated, and we just need to stop cultivating it. We need to have larger discussions about this, right? There's a discussion here to be had about how women treat other women, and I mean all women. And there's also a discussion to be had about how young boys tend to be coddled and given preferential treatment when they're younger. It's not always the case before you get on your little keyboard and you're like, oh, actually, my mom preferred my sisters. Yes, sometimes that happens, but it's far more common for young boys to be given preferential treatment in a family, okay? It's just how it happens. Parents, I would ask that you really consider how you love your children. Have you cultivated an environment where your child can come to you and tell you if they start to feel uncared for, unloved, smothered? Do you have that environment of honesty and trust? Ask what they need to fix the problem. You know, when they're kids and they're experiencing that moment of vulnerability, sometimes they can make some crazy requests, but for the most time, they're rooted in just being treated better, and they will tell you if you ask. Let down your ego and listen. With all that being said, I'm sure there are some parents out there that are probably upset with me because nobody ever likes to receive parenting advice, especially from someone who doesn't have kids. But what do I know? I was just the child of parents once. Often an outside perspective can be extremely helpful. I hope y'all have a lovely day. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you all later with Annette. Bye.